Standing on the top now. No, nothing can move you.
Allow businesses to not cater toward certain people because of their lifestyle choices. Now we're gonna look at this a little bit and go over this real quick because a lot of people are upset about this, but we're gonna talk about this. All right, Supreme Court rules businesses can refuse services to the LGBTQ plus customers. The Supreme Court can rule businesses can refuse services to LGBTQ plus customers. Businesses can refuse, this is from Axiom. Businesses can refuse to serve same sex couples for doing, let me read it again. Businesses can refuse to serve same sex couples if doing so would violate the owner's religious belief, the Supreme Court ruled on Friday. We do have religious freedom, we do have that in the Constitution. You cannot tread upon the rights of people who have a and use their businesses as a religion. Now I know. Well, let me continue to read. Sometimes I speak a little faster. Well, let me continue to read. Let me start all over. Uh, Axiom. Well, last week we had the Supreme Court rule in favor of businesses, religious businesses, or religious business ran by religious people, to stand strong to refuse services to people in the LGBTQ plus community because of their beliefs in the LGBTQ plus community. A lot of organizations do not believe, do not support it because they feel supporting it and pushing it and siding with it is anti-God. So, of course, their business, if they dedicate their business to God, if their business um, is a Muslim business or a Christian business, whatever, this rules in their favor that they do not have to service you, not as a LGBTQ plus person, but service you with LGBTQ products or services. That is what this is all about. Business can refuse to serve same sex couples if doing so would violate the owner's rights, religious belief, the Supreme Court ruled on Friday. Why it matters? The court has significantly expanded LGBTQ plus rights over the past several years, but is now carving out some exceptions. Driving the news, the case concerning Lori Smith, a Colorado web designer who wanted to create and sell wedding websites, but not to same-sex couples. So let's say she's a Christian or a Muslim or whatever, and she dedicated her and she believed her business, she dedicated to God, or she felt God wanted her to start a business. It happens. And somebody from the LGBTQ plus community say, hey, I want you to develop me a LGBTQ plus website, or I want you to uh, help me develop a LGBTQ um, business service. Well, if it's an LGBTQ plus business service and you got a Christian person, a Christian's they believe that LGBTQ is outside of the will of God. That is against the will of God and the word of God. So it doesn't mean that I don't love you as an individual, but I can't support your lifestyle. But you, the individual, I do support you as a human being, but how you live is your life, but I don't have to agree with it, and I don't have to financially support it, and I don't have to push it, even though you want to push it. So that's where we are in this situation. And that owner can't not serve them because they're LGBTQ, you know. But if you're trying to get them to produce a product to support LGBTQ community, that's and it may be against their religion to support the LGBTQ. They see themselves supporting it. That's what I'm saying. The case concerning Laura Smith, a Colorado web designer who wanted to create and sell wedding website, but not to same-sex couples. The Colorado civil rights law prohibit her or any business that serves the general public from turning away customers because of their sexual orientation. She said complying with that law would force her to espouse views she does not agree with. The artwork that I create is speech, Smith told Colorado Public Radio in December, adding that those messages must be consistent with my conviction. So, in other words, she's saying that the work that I do is supposed to reflect the God that I serve. So, if God is saying, having all these scriptures about that lifestyle being ungodly, then for me to develop products to cater toward that lifestyle makes me going against the will of God. I'd rather be looked at as anti-LGBTQ than being looked at as anti-God. The big picture here, the conservative majority Supreme Court ruled 6-3 in favor of Smith, saying she has a First Amendment right to refuse to design custom websites for same-sex couples. The First Amendment envisioned the United States as a rich and complex place where all persons are free to think and speak as they wish, not as the government demands. Colorado cannot deny that promise consistent with the First Amendment, Justice Neil Gorsuch wrote in the majority opinion. The opportunity to think for ourselves and express those thoughts freely is among our most cherished liberties and part of what keeps the republic strong, Gorsuch wrote in the major opinion. Now, I agree with that. All of us will encounter ideas we consider unattractive, Gorsuch wrote, but added that tolerance, not coercion, is our nation's answer. Tolerance, not coercion. State of play. President Biden said in a statement Friday that he was deeply concerned that the decision could invite more discrimination against LGBTQ plus Americans. Biden urged Congress to pass the Equality Act in response to the ruling. The court decision has the potential to reinforce limits to what government can do to protect against discrimination. Linda McClain, a law professor at Boston University, told Axios ahead of the ruling. In her dissent, Justice Sonia Sotomayor wrote that there has been a backlash to the movement for liberty and equality for gender and sexual minorities. New forms of inclusion have been met with reactionary exclusion. This is heartbreaking. The immediate symbolic effect of the decision is to mark gays and lesbians for second-class status, Sotomayor added in the dissent, which was joined by Justice Elena Kagan and Ketanji Brown Jackson. Because what I'm seeing is this isn't them denying them service. It's if you want me to build a LGBTQ website and I'm a Christian, I can't do it. Now, if you're LGBTQ and you want to build a website that's not pushing that agenda, I got it. I don't mind doing it. But you're trying to get me to use my talent that God gave me, and I believe God gave me that talent, to build you a product that's going to go outside what the Bible says. But in closing, I'm going to go over this in a minute. The decision threatened to allow the inclusion of other groups from many services. A website designer could equally refuse to create a wedding website for an interracial couple. It's not the same. The Bible and religion. Between the lines, this case was an effective rerun of 2018 case in which a baker refused to bake a cake for a same-sex wedding. The court punted at that time, but had signaled that business owners with religious objections to same-sex marriage were likely to prevail in the end. There's a lot of people on Twitter that is upset with this decision, and I get it. I get it. People are upset with this decision. Now, in closing, here's the deal. And this is where I stand on this. Is the Bob TV point of view. You may not agree or you may agree. I don't care. This is my point of view. People take their faith serious. Now, just because there's those who take their faith, there's those who are in the faith, and that there's those who live by faith. It's two different things. There's those who in the faith and those that live by faith. There's those who are Christians, but they still, get involved with this and this and that and this and that. They're not 100% in. Then there's those who go bodyguard hard. It's just like Muslims. It's just like any other religion, Buddhist monks and things like that. You can't expect a Buddhist who believe in Buddhism and Buddhism idea to push Buddhism. In other words, if you a person that want to build a booty talk website, and that person is a Buddhist and he don't believe in sexual exploitation, you can't get mad at him for denying you the Build a Booty Talk website because he's a Buddhist and he's trying to preserve his relationship. He's not actively involved with sex. He's trying not to think sex all the time. He's trying to stay in 100% spiritual capacity. So you can't call him anti-booty. I'm trying to make this in a funny way and trying to explain this in a funny way. The bottom line is this. This Supreme Court ruling is not for a person of faith to refuse to do business with the person that's in a community that's anti their faith. The only thing is, if it's something that's anti my faith, I can't build it. But it doesn't mean I can't build anything for you. Again, this has got nothing to do with the person. It got to do with the person's lifestyle. If you're trying to get me to promote something that encourage that lifestyle that I don't believe in, that I don't agree with, that's a different story. Now, you can't say this ain't got nothing to do with blackness. This is a religion. A religion should be able to operate their business by religion. A lot of people get in business and they dedicate their business to God. They take their first dollar and give it back into to the Christian community or the Muslim community or whatever community or religion they're in. They take their business seriously. That's a Christian business. That's just not a Christian. That's just not a business. It's a Christian business. It's a Muslim business. It's a Jewish business. They dedicate their business to the state of religion. And we do have a freedom of religion aspect in our Constitution. Now, do that give him the freedom to say no to a person that's in that community for anything? No, he can't do that. He can't do that. He still have to honor them as an individual, as a human. Now, if that individual, that human, wants him to produce a product that supports what he's against, come on now. You got a lot of people upset. It's like this, man. Why are you wasting your time? Just like what I was telling Russ with Due Dissidence on Twitter. Why are you wasting your time going to that person? Why you want this Christian to build a LGBTQ plus website when his religion is anti-LGBTQ lifestyle? When his religion actually talks about a story about a town that was involved with internet all access sex, which is far beyond LGBTQ. It's the plus side of LGBTQ. Let me put it that way. In the LGBTQ community, that plus has a whole lot to it. And to me, it messes up your message of love is love because it goes beyond love. It goes into all access sex, which you've grown to each his own. But you got somebody over here that don't believe in all access sex. So if you're trying to get them to build a website to support all access sex, he should be able to deny that because that's against his religious belief. It ain't against you, it's against what you want me to build. I can't build that for you. Give me something else to build, but not that. That's against my religion. That is what this is all about. That business owner can't refuse. It's just like Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A, being a Christian business, cannot deny a trans person or somebody that's bisexual or even people that's in the plus. When I say the plus, people into King, S&M and all that kind of stuff. People in Furbyism. You know what Furbyism is? People who put on costumes and have relationship with people. It's a whole bunch of stuff. I'm telling you. It's a whole bunch of stuff in that community. That's why when you go to a parade, you see all kinds of stuff. people acting like they dogs, and people walking around with leashes on. That happens. And you go to my video on my Rumble channel, I talk about that. To ask me to build websites in support of these things, and I'm a Muslim, I'm a Christian, I can't. It's not you, it's what you want me to build. I don't support that faith. I'm not into that belief. It's just like a Satanist. A Satanist want me to go to a Christian and produce a Satanist website. Ain't gonna happen. Or vice versa. You're a Satanist. A Christian goes and say, I want you to build me a Christian website. It ain't gonna happen. So why do you think this is anything different? It ain't gonna happen. So what you do is you build your green book of people who got that talent in your community, and you go to them. Why are you messing with the Christian? Why are you messing with the Muslim? Why you got to push back on them? Well, we got to. No, why? One of the biggest mistakes the black community made during segregation is we tried to force white businesses to allow us to eat in. There was a better way we could have did that, because what we did was we were so focused on building these white businesses by integrating that we forgot about the black businesses to their detriment. Now you can rarely find in New York City and Harlem majority black owned cleaners, black owned restaurants. Well, you got some black owned restaurants, but I'm talking about black, foundational black. Well, you can find foundational cake bakeries. We very rarely have that. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having various communities and you going to support that community. Man, when I want me, I don't go to a brother for empanada, man. I'm going to the empanada shop over there in Spanish Harlem where they make the best empanadas. I'm not going to no brother for that, no sister for that. My my whole entire spiel on this segment is, why waste your time going to somebody who don't believe like you believe? You go to the person who believe like you believe and support what they have. I'm quite sure you got website designers, you got real estate owners, agencies. Go support those in your community. Now, somebody outside of your community welcome your support and you want to do business with them, fine. But stay in your lane. If you want something done on behalf of your community, go to the person in your community to get that done. Going outside ain't helping anything. Honestly speaking, it's you infringing on their rights versus them infringing on your rights.